recording and etc. So then probably we have to review it later, maybe after it's recorded. Then, yeah, you can be active. You can raise your hands. You can type questions in chat. Again, my colleague will help me noticing that. Of course, we have lots of questions and lots of content, but then we can also get back to the questions in the end. But if something really bothers in the middle, so just raise the hand. And let's start with a short introduction. Let's start with a short introduction. I have the Microsoft Forms questionnaire just to understand a bit what's your situation today with the certifications, with your experience. It's just a few questions. I'm pasting the link here in chat as well. So I would be really happy if you can quickly, I think there are 5, 6 questions, just to, yeah, it's 5 questions to respond. Those are anonymous at the moment. Later, after this session, we'll share a bit more, a longer questionnaire, just to prepare better for the full day trainings later. Okay. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. I can. Does anyone have trouble opening it? Do you need any assistance?
No, it works.
Good, good. Okay, maybe while you are still answering, I just briefly will remind about the Upskill program. We are built together here with Microsoft, Central Eastern Europe, a multi-country team, just to support partners in this in getting this new competency, in training your people in understanding more about Power Platform, how to do business there. So yeah, we are building it together with Microsoft. And yeah, looking into the objective. So here we are to help you to define the strategy. So my colleagues already started one-on-one calls with you, and also to enable organizations by getting certified or supporting the some technical support in your project or in your solution you are building. So this is general reminder about the program. And the commitment from partners, so it means from you, was that at least one person from the team would pass, a new person would pass PL 900 or PL 100 certifications by May 31st. And then, yeah, as part of this commitment, Microsoft expects that there would be at least one license sale of Power Apps or Power Automate. And of course, the main tool to sell the licenses is some solution. And we are ready to help you to the small technical consultancy to maybe unblock or to help to begin with that. Small disclaimer that this program does not include the certification vouchers. Sometimes I'm personally attended also a series of different train-the-trainer trainings or some other trainings, and sometimes those have vouchers included, sometimes not. So this time the vouchers are not included. And yep, so this is again reminder about the whole program. So we started with an intro event at the beginning of April, and then you had the application cycle. The committee formed from Microsoft and some colleagues from our side have chosen. It was really hard to choose the 10 partners to work further. And congratulations for those who are chosen. But yeah, we were looking really hard how to support as much as possible. So we are happy to invite even those outside of that 10 selected partners to participate in all the one-to-many events like this workshop and the remaining workshops this week. So and also I'll share at the end a bit of self-study and personal assignment. So you can do it as well. So of course there won't be this, let's say, personal Q&A and personal follow-up, but it might be really good if you study more. You can pass it, I believe, yourself as well. And then the next milestone is the May 31st, when we expect that you already will be your certifications in hands. And then we can proceed for the next stage, which is assist, where we will deliver a half-day personal technical assistance on your project or your solution you're working on currently. Okay, so let's take a look into responses. I'll share them on my screen. I hope the screen is visible. So yeah, we got 38 responses, and half of you already had some certifications, half of you not. Okay, so almost equally you're interested and don't know about equal split. That's nice. Okay, I see from Microsoft experience that the biggest amount are coming from SharePoint and Office. Then a bit smaller from Navision. That's nice. And other technical experiences. Less from CRM. Okay, so I'll be happy to introduce the CRM side of it. And okay, any practical experience with a Power Platform? Just experimenting mostly. And a couple of you have 1-2 years experience. And okay, most of the products are touched. Cloud flows mostly. And the least AI Builder, that's natural, of course. Nice that Power Virtual Agents are being experienced as well. Okay, good. So it means half of you certified, half not, and mostly audience coming from SharePoint and Navision World or other technologies. Okay, good. Then stopping to share my screen now. Let's get back to presentation. Okay. Okay, just a second. So probably screen sharing was not the best idea. Okay. See, I'm coming from CRM and Power Platform world, so I'm not such pro with the teams. So, excuse me. Okay. Yep. Good. So let's continue. I hope you see slides again. Okay. So, Power Platform overview. Okay, so it's just reminder where we are, where Microsoft Power Platform is, what are the main building blocks. So probably you have seen it many times. Power BI, Power Apps automate virtual agents, portals, connectors, and Microsoft Dataverse, which used to be called Common Data Service. So it's very important to still to follow both names, because in many materials, it's still called under the old name. In some places, it's a new name, Dataverse. And also in certification exam, it still might be using the old name. And yeah, probably you can notice that recently Microsoft just did some marketing twist, changed the logo for Dataverse. Of course, it's not so important because you can't buy it separately. But anyway, the connectors, when you will be adding, you will get this new logo already, because the connector itself was, it got the update in the platform, and yeah, now it's represented with this new logo. Okay, first I would like to make a short twist to a history, to show that how different Power Platform building blocks has evolved and when they started. And the main point I want to make here is the CRM, because probably it's the probably the most oldest and the most legacy thing, which is part of the Power Platform, because what we call today model-driven apps, what we call today model-driven apps, and Microsoft Dataverse, and yeah, all the engine which is running that. It used to be just CRM. It used to be a monolith kind of system on premise, later in cloud. It has its own database, all that smart data layer, and etc., which became Common Data Service and later was renamed to Microsoft Dataverse. And all the method how we create, of course, it was changing a lot inside technically. We got this modern UI or UCI. It was huge technical change within CRM, and with that change, modern model-driven apps were enabled. And but still, if you was creating or modifying CRM like, I don't know, 5 years ago, or building plugins, workflows, or something, you will find model-driven apps pretty familiar for you. Of course, that there are many new things, but the whole concept, the whole things, fields, forms, views, everything is is kind of the same, and some small things are still coming from really like 10-year-old code base or something. And then, of course, new things were started to be added on top was Power BI, which evolved from Excel and SQL Server reporting services. It was released 2015. Then we got Canvas apps and Power Automate Cloud Flows in 2016. And then Power Virtual Agents, more kind of user-friendly version of Azure Bot Framework was added to Power Platform 2 years ago. And last year, there was a release and addition of Power Automate Desktop Flows, which enabled all robotic process automation scenarios. And let's say everything what's on top, I always call like a modern part of the Power Platform, and the model-driven apps are kind of bringing up the legacy. And that's why all the certification and everything is really connected all together, because the technologies are kind of still the same and connected to a CRM side. Again, my traditional architectural slide, just to see how things are connected. Again, very important. If you used to call, used one term, Power Apps, just try to adopt really Canvas apps and model-driven apps, because they're technically totally different things. Model-driven apps runs on Dataverse, and the same as CRM, and we can run the portals from the Dataverse. And the modern part, Power Automate Canvas apps, works through connectors and virtual agents as well. And that's totally a different story. And then we have a connectivity of ERP systems, Dynamics ERP apps. And those are not running on Dataverse. We can integrate if we want, but there is a bit different story how to connect non-CRM based Dynamics apps. So we can connect them to Canvas apps and Power Automate through connectors, and we can do an integration to a Dataverse, like database to database level integration. It's a bit different for finance and operations and Business Central. Business Central finance and operations is more advanced, but Business Central is catching up. Again, since we talk about technologies, so again, it's important to understand, and also I think there could be some questions in the exams about the connectivities and relationships to a CRM or ERP apps. So we have all AX-based apps like finance, commerce, supply chain management. We have CRM-based apps, sales, customer service, field service marketing, of course, Business Central running on the Vision base, and like project operations and human resources are now kind of splitting between AX platform, and also some parts are implemented in Dataverse as well. Okay. So yeah, there were questions about PL200, so we'll soon get there. I can try to touch that as well a bit. So this was about the Power Platform, what it is now, how it's connected, how it's evolved, the relationship to CRM, and why it's so connected then inside the certifications, and importance to understand the connectivity between CRM and non-CRM Dynamics apps to a Power Platform. Of course, we'll touch this more in the architectural sessions, couple of times, but again, if it's repeated, I think you can remember it better. Yeah, so recent changes with Microsoft certification. So half of you already own some certifications. It used to be so-called MCSA. It was like Microsoft Certified Solution Associate, Expert, Developer, and etc. It was before the certifications were based purely on technology, like SQL Server, Windows, BizTalk Server. I owned a couple of SQL Server, BizTalk certifications, Visual Studio certifications before. And what they did in 2019, they introduced new role-based certifications. It means I'm cloud developer, or I'm Power Platform or business application consultant, or I'm low-code developer, or I'm pro-code developer. And then it's collecting under it lots of technologies. It's not about one technology, but more about the role, how to complete your job. And today in the cloud world, there are so many different services and technologies and so many interconnections. So you see in Power Platform, so many things connected together, the business applications and etc. So this was idea behind this change. And then Microsoft introduced kind of 3 levels of this new type of certifications, like fundamentals, beginners, probably some practice, because without practice you cannot pass. You need to try it before anyway. Then associate, it means you already have kind of some working experience building apps or consulting or doing something else. And expert is the 3rd level, like 3-star. And it means you already have advanced experience in this Power Platform certification. It stands for solution architects. One more change which happened recently is about the expiration of certificates. So role-based certifications after this announcement, 2018, were valid for 2 years after certification day. And I might be wrong, but I think it was only for associates. But just end of last year, Microsoft announced that there are 2 upcoming changes. One change was that all new certifications you pass after June 2021, so it's in 2 months, very soon, will be valid only for 1 year. Of course, if you will still pass it now during this framework, during the May, then it will still be valid for 2 years. But the new thing which was introduced, and it was really positively accepted by community, was possibility to renew your role-based certifications for free. It will be every year, you can do that, but you can just pass a renewal assessment on Microsoft Learn page. Microsoft Learn is now like central place to get all the training information, all the training materials, and it will it have those renewal assessment certifications. Of course, you have to connect to use the same account for your certification dashboard and also for Microsoft Learn. And so then the systems will talk to each other, and your renewal assessment will be counted, and your certification will be prolonged for 1 year. And you can do it then annually. until probably some changes will come. And of course, that was pretty natural because the technologies are changing so fast. There are so many new things, so many new services appearing. So it's really kind of obvious that if you pass something 2 years ago, so probably many things have changed. Okay. And yeah, you can do it 6 months before certification expires, and then, but the year will count after this expiration date. Just a short list. So today there are already available those renewal assessments. There is still no Power Platform. There are many for Dynamics 365 because Power Platform is still rather new. Probably it will appear after the June of this year. Okay, so now let's take a full picture of business application certification roadmap. So Microsoft, like the whole this, it's always important to try to catch up with Microsoft terminology, and especially when you will be learning for the certifications, the terminology will be very important. I'll try to repeat it a couple of times, and I'll prepare the glossaries during the trainings. But because during the exam, you are getting more textual information rather than visual. It means you won't have the screen next to you where you think there's button somewhere. You have to know how this button is named. You have to know how that page is named. You have to know how I don't know that component is named in order to operate and just get into the questions. Okay, so business applications, they are bundled together with the Power Platform, and we see the 3 bubbles. The Power Platform, now it's already purely on the bottom. It was transitioning step by step, and it was kind of just going from the left to bottom. As I mentioned, technically, it was just following the technology. Technically, the Dataverse just appeared as the data layer from CRM. CRM specialists, they became automatically model-driven app specialists, and those certifications kind of just evolved from CRM to our platform. So, and so on the left, we have all the CRM-based certifications, in the bottom, Power Platform, and on the right, ERP-based certifications, Finance and Operations, and Business Central. Of course, I think there's only one for Business Central available today. Let's just zoom in a little bit. So even CRM specialists, they have to start from Power Platform certifications. So now in Power Platform, we have the ones which we are mentioned already, PL900, which is kind of mix of low code and analyst role. PL100, it's a low code developer, app maker. Then we have PL200, which is analyst. Of course, we can say that it's also a no-code developer, because functional consultant can understand and create model-driven apps which don't require the code. And then we have developer associate, PL400. So it's pro developer. Let's say if you've been CRM developer before, .NET, JavaScript, TypeScript, all those stuff, then this is certification for you. And also it's remaining the technology for model-driven apps. Then we have a separate data analyst associate, which is Power BI certification, and the expert one, the Power Platform Solution Architect. Let's take a quick look into CRM part. So CRM part certifications are switched by just fundamentals one. Before it was together CRM and ERP, and now it's split it into two, CRM and ERP separately. So fundamental CRM is really new certification, and then there is just by app. It's more like for consultants to understand how Microsoft built the process as the one model-driven app. So we have sales, we have marketing, we have customer service, and we have field service. Those four major apps, business apps, which are running on Dynamics CRM platform. Okay, so this is kind of repeating itself, just in a bit different form. So just showing that PL 900 is fundamentals, and all others are associate. PL 100 is like 2-star associate certification, the same as PL 200. And then expert is PL 600. At the moment, 600 is still in beta. It's possible to also to pass the beta certification as well. Beta exam, of course, you are not getting the answers until the exam is released from beta state. Yep, and so we'll be mostly focusing on this PL 900 and PL 100. So 200. I don't know. Yeah, I have it passed as well. It used to be, actually, no, I don't have PL 200. I have MB 200, which was Microsoft Dynamics consultant. It was like a base certification for all other CRM certifications. So it was generic about understanding how it mostly about model-driven apps. So how Dataverse works, how tables, how we create tables, relationships, how we create forms and views and business rules. So everything around the creation of model-driven apps. So I think now when it's PL, it's also extended with some of the Canvas app functionality. But yeah, it's also very good certification to take on. Just it's not part of the focus for this training. But looking, so these both are, of course, you can even start with this one, PL 900, which is more foundation. It's just understanding everything and just getting into a bit in each part. And of course, it would be really valuable also for this certification. And later you can see whether you are going more developer side. So after PL 900, you can go to PL 100, which will be a low-code developer, app maker. Or you think that maybe development is too much for you, even low-code, you can go to this functional consultant, and you can go to PL 200. Both either PL 200, either PL 400 are prerequisites for this expert solution architect certification. So it's treated that you can become an architect by being the pro code developer or being the consultant and no code developer, what means just doing configurations within the platform. Okay, so this is just again, short thing about CRM-based certifications. As I mentioned, PL200 comes as the base for all those app-based consultant certifications. Before it was MB200. And if you want totally basics to understand what each app is doing in the dynamics, so you can pass the MB900. And here it's mentioned MB600 as it used to be a solution architect, which was called Dynamics 365 Plus Power Platform Solution Architect, but it's retiring this year and it's being replaced by PL600 Power Platform Solution Architect. So we are kind of, it's probably will be the final touch when Power Platform is disconnected from CRM in certification wise. Okay. Any questions so far? You can type them. And I move forward into PL900 and PL100. Yep, so these are just information from official definition about who should be taking this PL900. So the main thing I want to just emphasize in my own words is that it's not about PL900 is not about just like user or I don't know, business user or something. It's about kind of advanced user who understands all the pieces of the platform and is able at least to build very simple Canvas app, very simple model-driven app, virtual agent, bots, create flow, do some small automation for yourself or for the project. And yeah, so this is very important. So fundamentals is not about only knowing, but it's about having some experience. So let's take a look into the official objectives. So these are official objectives for PL900 exam. And yeah, of course, exam is going through checking if you know how to, if you understand the value of Power Platform, if you understand all the pieces of it, the architecture, the connections between each other, and also the connectivity with the Office and other Dynamics products. It's important to understand because everything is connected. Yeah, you can understand and feel the difference between Dataverse and SQL Server and understand what is connector, how it works. Understand the difference between like premium, standard connectors, custom connectors, and be able to identify when to use which one it could be used. Also, licensing part is touched as well in both actual certifications. So you kind of have to understand that, let's say, the license within the Office don't give you the premium connector or custom connector, and etc. Of course, Power BI. So you Power BI for me as the CRM developer, I haven't done Power BI a lot before. I had a couple smaller projects compared to my CRM experience, but yeah, that was pretty complicated because you have to know all the terminology and etc. to know the steps, what can be done, what can't be done, how it's shared, how it's published, understand the difference between the tools like desktop and cloud and etc. yeah, capabilities of Power Apps. It means demonstrate and also be able to build Canvas app, portal, Power Apps portal. It's really rare thing. Usually people don't do them often, but model-driven app. Also, yeah, Power Automate, building the basic flows, understand triggers, different flow types, templates, and etc. It's also there is in the description, like there is more information. I took the 2 levels of objectives here. In the Microsoft definition, there are 3 levels. I tried to summarize them in one place. Power Virtual Agents and also AI Builder is mentioned as well. So it's again, if you learned, because when we say that, okay, I'm learning Power Apps, most probably you are trying to build some Canvas apps by tutorial. And if you tried only Canvas apps, you most probably wouldn't pass the exam. You have to try all the components separately. And also very important to follow them and understand the relationships between them and also terminology. Now, PL100, it's already about the person who is app maker, who is building the app, who is able analyze requirements and understand the needs and build them into the app or the solution. Already this certification already brings the solutions in and actually goes into each of those topics just in a deeper, in a more advanced stage. So so these are official PL100 objectives. And here we have design solutions. It means like we have to identify required Power Platform components, design data models, so understand what kind of tables would be needed, what kind of app we will put. Actually, both PL100 and PL900, you have to understand when to each what, when to use what, when model-driven app, when Canvas app. And we cover all those decisions in our architectural workshop this week. But this is very important because there's so many options. You have to understand which thing is used for what, like portals for external access, Canvas app if you want control over UI, model-driven app if you're running on Dataverse or some other type of requirements, or you don't need totally to care about your user interface and etc. So actually, for both certifications, this is important. Create solutions. Again, model-driven apps, Canvas, business logic, automate flows, kind of technically all the same building blocks, just in a deeper, more advanced level. It PL100 covers Power BI as well, but actually in the it has less focus on Power BI. The complexity of questions are kind of the same, just there are less of them because there's less focus for Power BI, and actually Power App portals are not listed as objectives here. And solutions, yeah, it's important. It's important for solutions. Again, solution thing is coming from CRM and model-driven app world as well. So if you did this thing before, so you will be familiar. If not, you will have to understand it, and we'll have in the trainings solutions covered as well. Also, the management and troubleshooting and creating environments, administration, those things are also part of the objectives and exam. So you need to understand how to create environments, how to create security rules, who can get access, how to make copies of it. Actually, for both exams are the same. And in the next slide, I have kind of comparison. It's kind of my subjective experience comparing to that. It's not officially Microsoft comparison, but I have passed both exams. I would say that, yeah, every step we take in PL 900. So PL 100 has a bit more advanced version of it, like general architecture, Canvas apps, Power Automate, Dataverse, model-driven apps has more advanced level. Additionally, PL 100 has analysis. Like in exam, we have the so-called case studies, where there is presented situation of the customer with lots of data, and there are just follow-up questions, how to solve one or other problem based on all this analysis. In PL 900, there is also very extensively mentioned the connectivity to other services like Office 365, Dynamics, and etc. Of course, I think PL 100 kind of, in general, you have to understand the whole landscape as well, but it's not listed in the objectives. And then connectors, kind of the same level of understanding is required for both. Portals are covered only in PL 900. Solutions mentioned a bit in PL 900 and much more deeply in PL 100. Power BI, again, it's more on this foundations exam. And virtual agents and AI builder, it's kind of, there are questions about that. You have to know, you have to be at least tried once or a couple of times just to understand the logic. But in both cases, it's just more of understanding. So which one to choose? Yep, so I would say if you are just starting with a Power Platform, then go for PL 900, because it's not something that's non-techie or just regular user. It's also about creating solutions, just more in foundational level. For PL 100, I would really say it's important to have experience, year or couple of years. So my CRM experience was really helpful there, just to understand kind of twisty questions and etc. Sometimes just reading and not, if you have never tried or experienced things, it might be tricky. So if you don't have experience with Power Platform, then my recommendation would be to start with a PL 900. If you already have PL 900 or you are already developing, have a couple of years experience, I saw a couple of answers there, then you can go for a PL 100. Okay. So we had one question. Just grab some water. It's hard to talk 2 hours in parallel in sequence. Okay. What do you expect future of Power Platform to be? What are the next features that would come after RPA? You never know. I mean, the for those who used to be in Microsoft consultancy as Microsoft partners and etc. So you probably remember that there were kind of on-premise software 3-year cycles, update versions, you sell them again, and etc. And now with the cloud, we have kind of new services upcoming all the time. All the existing services are being updated with new features. They become preview features. They then getting into final general availability in kind of half a year or sometimes. Then also now the release cycle is they called updates are coming in waves. So there is every year the wave 1 and wave 2. So currently, before it was kind of spring and autumn, now it's just wave 1 and wave 2. So every time they're announcing the roadmap and the upcoming features, and there is a long list of table for every feature saying that, okay, in this wave, this feature will become it's totally new thing. It will come into preview. Later, it will move towards the general availability. And we can see kind of the table, all the things are coming, and etc. Other thing, how to follow. Yeah, that's probably a good question. What might be coming, maybe it's more about smaller features. It's so-called customer voice. Microsoft is using, if August, I just will type here, customer voice, or no. Sorry, I'll just find the right, maybe somebody can help me with the right name for that. Microsoft has this portal where everybody can submit ideas, or it's ideas forum, submit ideas, and everybody else can vote for them. And then Microsoft actually is following that. And even internally, when we are speaking, internal people are also submitting there, and you can follow, and you can see that the most voted in the top yeah, thanks, Augusta. But yeah, I was wrong with the name. No, it's a product within Dynamics, but that's Ideas Forum, I think. So it's very nice to follow to see what kind of features might be upcoming, because Microsoft is changing status, like in review, or they're rejecting that feature, or they're accepting, and they're estimating maybe in the next wave it will be released, and etc. What else? RPA, yeah, it was a nice addition. It's nice addition. Microsoft tried to implement itself as UI flows, and then they acquired Softomotive with a product from the market, and it really successfully integrated into the whole platform. And yeah, it seems working really nicely. From development side, Microsoft announced, I think in March, the PowerFX, the programming language, yeah. Which it was just a new name for formulas which we were writing in the Canvas apps. Now those formulas got the name PowerFX, and now they are approaching this formula language as the real language. They have published it as open source language, so everybody can submit their ideas and then contribute to that. And the roadmap was that this PowerFX language will be spreading into model-driven apps, to like calculated fields, later to plugin development. At some point, probably next year, as the would change or stand next to the current Power Automate expression formulas. So it means that it will be a kind of normal low-code development programming language, which will be the same and familiar across all parts of Power Platform. I think also in Power Virtual Agents and etc. Because now it's every service was having its own way how to extend, how to write code, and etc. So now Microsoft is unifying that part, which sounds really nice. What else? Again, more connectivity, more collaboration between each parts of the service. For example, there are lots of new possibilities appearing from Canvas app embed scenarios into CRM. And I believe that the similar scenarios could be achieved in Business Central and Finance and Operations, when Canvas app would replace some parts of your Dynamics development, and you just embed the forms inside there. It's possible now, but I believe it will be growing more. Yeah, Microsoft also investing in this reusability, which is also covered in exams. Component reusability between apps and etc. Like in the Canvas apps today, you can have the components which you just group and make yourself, and you can share like component libraries, and you can share between the apps and include now, I think, already in the solution. Also, Microsoft investing heavily in PCF, which is Power Platform Control Framework, which today, from logical side, it's covering all model-driven apps, Canvas apps, and portals. It means that you can build your own controls. There are controls, PCF library. I can just type some code keywords here in the chat. PCF library, where Microsoft and community is building those custom controls, and this is becoming the new kind of trend and reusability, how things are changing. It's more from kind of development and etc. side. Okay. One more question. PL200 seems to have almost the same coverage of topics as PL100, so it would make more sense to take PL200 if you want to get Dynamics certification roles. Most of next steps would be PL400. Yeah, I can't answer very deeply this question now here. When I was passing this exam, it was more about let's say all the no code thing. It means how to configure stuff. App Maker is already about how to build, how to analyze, analyze requirements in both, but it covers how to build, how to do kind of code, how to choose right technology, and etc. But okay, I would need to compare better PL100 and 200 side by side, objective by objective, to answer it correctly. I guess, and maybe in the future it might converge or change something, because all those things were changing. Certifications, as I mentioned, PL200 came from CRM Vault, from MB200, and it was about how to be a CRM-based consultant. So it's extended a bit with the Power Platform. PL100, it came probably more from Canvas app building, and added with all the other components, how to extend like SharePoint and then all Office apps and etc., and added more model-driven apps and everything on top. So it might be that they're meeting halfway each other. But yeah, today those are still different. Okay. So, sorry, Vladimir, maybe we'll get back the questions.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to disturb you. I just, this is a
fine.
natural question. You don't have to answer that question now. It's just some thoughts. I'm sure we'll be able to reconnect later, but I'm, kind of trying to understand the proper path, kind of the most efficient way. So that's why I'm raising this question, but never mind. Yeah, please go on.
So maybe let's do in Q&A. I'll open the PL 200's latest objectives, and we'll just can compare. Okay, so now exams. So half of you have already tried, so you know what it means. Half of you not. So yeah, so probably this information will be valuable for you. So in short, all exams are, Microsoft exams are about 40, 60 questions in a row. PL 900 is foundation, it's 1 hour, and PL 100 is 2 hours, 10 minutes as it's associate level exam. And additionally, during the exam session, we are getting additionally 20 minutes, which is not calculated in this answering phase, but it's more to read all the NDAs, because there is lots of things to know what you can't share, what you can't do with it, and etc. And then also Microsoft in the end asks for some feedback and evaluation, and if you notice you think that you noticed some problem with a question, you can submit. During every exam take, I'm trying to submit at least one suggestion for some question, or I feel that something is wrong with that question. And then every question is weighted, so it means it has different value, and overall you can collect up to 1,000 points for your exam, and passing score is 700. So if you it doesn't mean you have to answer 70% correctly, because maybe you can answer the easiest ones, like 1 point worth, and then you will fail with a 10-point worth, and then you probably will not pass the exam. And you'll get the evaluation right away. You just get your score and passed or not, and then you getting some summary. I'm always getting confused with that, but actually it's based on those objectives. But when it's saying that because questions is kind of technical, but objectives are summarized in ability to understand or summarize the requirement, ability to I don't know, to design solution or something. But you see the progress on each of that objective area. Here are a couple of sample questions. Those are not from these exams. Those are from Microsoft certification website. So probably it's something, yeah, .NET SQL. It's not totally related. It's just to show what kind of type of questions there could be. The simple choice or something like this, single choice. There is also possibility to mark your questions for review later. And if you don't feel comfortable, because some sections allow you to get back to older questions. And sometimes you can feel that, okay, you start thinking in one question influences another, and you can think, okay, let's get back to this because I got how it really works. So you can mark it review later, and in the end of this section, you'll get those marked questions listed, and then you can just get back and maybe change your answer. And comment later if you feel that it's really some issue there and there is a mistake and you want to provide feedback, you can mark as comment later. And after it's finished, you can provide then your comments to Microsoft. Okay. Also one type, just drag and drop some actions so you get the situation described. Sometimes, and this is the place where I'm mentioning that you have to understand the terminology and to memorize it or just think when you are creating the apps. Because let's say it would be, okay, how would you, I don't know, create a new app and give it to your friends? Yeah, it means, and there are options like, I don't know, going to that portal, Power Maker Power Apps portal, clicking new app, adding screen, adding data source, and you have to order them in the right sequence. And you might not use everything. It might say that how many of the items you have to choose, or you might need to use all of those, and you have to order them in right order. Then like save, publish, and so you have to remember sequence, and you have to remember the action, how it's named the action, or how the buttons are named. Also, there are some questions when you also have to drag and drop to answer, let's say, saying that the customer have this and that problem, what would solve his problem? And you have list of available options like Canvas app, model-driven app, portal, or something. And saying customer wants external access. Then you probably know that it's portal, just drag and drop and place portal there. And customer wants mobile application with a custom UI. You just take the Canvas app and drag and drop. Sometimes you can use this twice and drag and drop, I don't know, some other question. Customer wants to have mobile app with a, I don't know, barcode scanner. You drag and drop Canvas app again. Because model-driven apps, they also have mobile application available, and we'll touch it also in the architectural sessions and follow-up trainings. And this is example of more complicated question. PL 100 contains case studies, or it might contain. But since there is a big objective about analyzing requirements, so this is how Microsoft measures. It used to be in other exams as well. And this is complicated, like because it's in the one of the last questions, and usually I'm also struggling to manage to do them in time, because time is just going away, and there are lots of text in each section. So you start with a kind of you read the background. There is a company X acquired company B, blah blah blah. They have these systems. They have some legacy things. They have these new things. Then like existing environment description, long text, business requirements. They want to merge all the systems into one system or something like that. I'm just saying something from my head. So some technical requirements. Let's say everybody needs to connect from, I don't know, Office 365 accounts and be available from one region or something, and then problem and etc. And then there are, I don't know, like 10 questions about one case study. And questions are pretty simple, like, but you have to crunch all the data, and in that all the piece of the data, it's probably lots of unnecessary information for that question. So if you are short in time, so probably just try to read the background, just very quickly run through the other sections and go to the questions. And then after the questions, just return back, especially if there are a couple of case studies. You already understand how case studies work, so you can just get back, and from each question you can read background again, and it's accessible, so you don't need to memorize. You can switch back to material to question to material to question, and yeah, that's and then they're asking pretty. So in all, when you understand all the situation of the customer, so how you would suggest which app we should use or something like that. Or let's say there are some user complaints that something doesn't work. So how you would be looking for an issue and which areas you would check or something. Okay, now this is about the exam itself. Overall, both are similar, except that PL100 has more advanced questions with the case studies, etc. Now, how to schedule exam? First, probably landing place for you is the certification dashboard. This address, it's a dashboard. You sign in with your Microsoft account or live account, as used to be. And here you see all your certifications, which you have in your, you can get a transcript, which you will find all your certifications passed and etc. And you can schedule new ones. Now, scheduling, let's say PL 900. Not sure why I was trying to get different currency and it was always showing USD for me. That was strange. Most probably it will be a Pearson Vue, the certification provider. I think this is the one which works in Europe. I think others are more US, but I might be wrong. But at least for me, it was always this one which worked. And then, yeah, you choose the exam. And then you have a couple of options. Options are at local test center or online from my home or office. I don't know if somebody has already tried this online certification. Put your comments. How did you like that? So the at local test center, it was all the time here, but probably during the COVID crisis, it became more in different countries due to lockdown and other issues. It became there were more issues to use that, and online option started to grow very fast. And actually, I passed my last 4 certificates in online way, and I kind of liked it. So online, it can show you all the certification centers in the local area next to your address. Of course, probably it would be good to contact them directly. And the benefit, of course, you can go physically there. The exam would be totally the same. Somebody would supervise you, but of course you need to just check if they are open, if they are not closed, and etc. And yeah, and other benefit probably with the physical test center is that probably that company can arrange it for you and probably manage invoices and etc. That also one of the benefits of this. Now online, it's kind of was new for me, and I liked it. Yeah, Vitaly has some experience with that. Really, 1 hour. I think I waited max for 15 minutes. Even though I sometimes I was almost late to finish because I was scheduling for 5 a.m. in the morning just to finish before all the families awaken. Yep, so online, you go there, you schedule, you find the date, you find the time slot. There are many of those time slots, 24/7. You select anything what works for you. And that's it. And you schedule, you pay, and then you wait for your appointment time. Now, a couple of notices around this online type. There are some room requirements. The main requirements, so that it should be kind of empty. Should nobody came in there. At the beginning, I think for the first time it was that it should be a door, closed door, no windows, or kind of closed windows, and etc. So if they will notice that somebody's in the same room or looking over the window or something, so they will just discontinue your exam session. So now the requirement is lower, as I see, and the main thing is about the light, that your face should be very visible. You shouldn't sit, the window should not be behind you, and yeah, you should always be with a webcam. Your face cannot leave the webcam, and there should be no noises around you, or I was always afraid to think aloud, because then probably Proctor would think that I'm talking to somebody because I'm trying to read aloud or put. So I haven't tried, but I was kind of trying to stop myself not to go into this. Yeah, so there should be no other people, and your desk should be empty, no other things, no papers, no books, nothing, or nothing on the wall, I don't know, poster or anything which could bring you some information. Yeah, computer requirements. So for me, it was totally no issues. You can test your computer before, but I think that the main problem could be with the firewalls or VPNs. So you should check this. There's a recommendation to use personal computer, but it worked fine with the work computer. Just you can really run the validation before, and you see if, and there is a software which checks how it works and if something is blocking anything. So the most important is the stable internet connection. You have to have your ID, passport, or identification. And yeah, so how it works, the process. So when you start, when your time came, they recommend to start like half an hour before. So you connect to the site, you start exam, you get the code, you get some information to your phone. Then on the phone, it opens the web app, and you have to take a picture of yourself. Then you have to take a picture of your passport, like holding in the good light condition, etc. And then you have to take pictures of all your room from all 4 angles, facing into your computer and your table where you will be taking the exam. So from the back, from the left, right, and etc., so that all the room is visible. And then you get some software launched. You have to close all windows, and that software works in kiosk mode, so it locks everything. You don't see even the your status bar, clock, nothing. You just see that question window as I showed before with the clock, which is going as a countdown. Yep. So then you start and you wait. So for me it was sometime 5-10 minutes. The last time was 15 minutes, and then proctors they are connecting to you. Once it was they haven't asked anything for me. Once they asked about the window and something else in a chat, and the last time the lady connected and asked me to lift my computer, show the room around. If there's nothing at the moment there, she asked to show my wrists if I don't have any smartwatch or anything else. And also, she reminded that there should be nobody else in the room, and etc., etc. And it's pretty hard to always keep your face in the camera, not to losing or not to start talking to yourself. But all 4 times for me it was totally flawless. There was no internet issues or anything. And so it works pretty well, and you can find slots like for next day, so it's pretty flexible. One more thing is the invoice. So if you are, because in the online way, you have to pay yourself with a credit card, might be your or company credit card, and then you are getting this invoice. This is my sample, and the problem here is that you can't enter your company details, even though in your profile there is company mentioned, but you are getting like to a personal thing, and you might need to check with your finance department before if you plan to reimburse your expenses. So to double check, because usually when there's no company mentioned, at least in Lithuania, we have troubles. But when I'm explaining that it's like a provider from US and I don't have any other way how to enter, they are not talking to me directly, and then etc. So then they accept, and then it works. So just you can use the sample to check with your finance before. Okay, now what happens if you don't get those 700 points? So you can of course retake the exam, and there is some retake policy. So if you fail it first time, you can schedule a next exam after 24 hours, which is okay. And then if you failed second time, probably, they're trying to avoid that brute forcing that you are trying to take with the money, and then you will pass or just randomly guessing or something. Then after second time failure, 14 days period. After fourth, the same, and after fifth, then it's a 1 year break for the same exam. But I guess two tries is enough. So if you fail on first, you study a bit more the areas which you feel that you will see where you failed. Of course, you don't get exact answers or exact questions where you failed, but probably you feel that you didn't know this area, or you just get summary by objectives that, okay, in this area you collected like 50%, this area you did like Canvas apps, you did 100%, but I don't know, model-driven apps, you did only 20%. So probably you'll get this summary, but not question by question. So you don't know which question is right, which is wrong. Okay, of course, if internet crashed or something happened with equipment or in the lab or something, then you can officially retake without any bans. You just have to, there is a procedure how to request this acceptable retake reason. Then you can do it without any bans. Okay. Now, so how we are planning to help you to get certified within this Power Platform Upskill program. Yeah, so first, this is the calendar. Yeah, it's organized by weeks. So now we're in week 18. And today we are in this workshop, Intro to Certification. Later this week, there are still two workshops, which I really encourage you to participate as well if you plan to try to get certification. The other two, which is not mentioned here, is about Power Platform sales and app source. So these are, of course, please participate there as well, but there won't be part of information required for certification. But licensing, maybe not the whole, because there will be also many details, but at least to understand the concept of licensing, it's very important because there are also in the exam objectives in both exams. Then architecture, of course, will start with the architectural part to understand all pieces, all connectivities, all the decisions, how we make, how we choose between one or other. And these parts are important in certifications as well. Of course, probably here we will cover some newer technologies as well, because certification itself, it lags with because they're not changing it so radically. So the last change was I think in March, but it was mainly about the terminology of Dataverse to Common Data Service to Dataverse, even though for me it was still Common Dataverse when I was trying when I was taking the exams. Then so what we thought with Microsoft how we should approach this. Either we just do like 2-day trainings or 1-day training or 2-day trainings. We just translate information for you. Yeah, so regarding the schedules, I think, yeah, so Augusta probably can just follow up to see maybe, yeah, it was missing from the list, or maybe your colleagues got, and we'll follow up. So Augusta, if you can check the question. Yep. So we thought how to do. Is it traditional way that we just do a training session, maybe some demos, and then you go study yourself? So we thought maybe let's do it in reverse path, because when people are learning Power Platform, usually they start, let's create Power App, Canvas app, let's create Power Automate Flow. And that's the main things usually people start with, and they feel that they are familiar, and that's okay. But actually that's just small piece of exam objectives. And we thought maybe let's give you some assignment before the trainings. So you would try to do it before the main training days yourself. Those the main parts like Canvas app, model-driven app, Dataverse, and Power Automate. Those are most common, most popular pieces. There's lots of information about that, and I believe most of you who are playing, you have already tried to play with that. Actually, in exam, we have more kind of niche questions, niche technologies like Power BI itself, or Power Virtual Agents, Power Portals, Power App Portals, and or all the manageability of Dataverse environments, and etc. So we wanted to put all this training effort into those more advanced topics and more Q&A part, so we can interact and answer questions, try out together. And so I don't know, this is the model we are trying off. Maybe I hope it will be successful, but let's see. So please give your inputs and feedback. But yeah, so we see that today I'll just give you materials for self-study if you still haven't tried. Of course, those are standard Microsoft ones. Then assignment, so that you can start build simple apps and flows yourself. And then we'll meet on week 21. So it will be May 17th. It's Monday. It will be the first day of the training, and we'll start getting into the more advanced topics, and probably we'll just review how you succeeded with your assignment and if you have any big blockers, and etc. Of course, it will be a mix of your questions and still some information, demos, and etc. I'll try to summarize the terminologies which are supporting all the parts, just for you to emphasize which parts are important. Then after exam, I would recommend to schedule your exam session. I'm not sure about availability for on-site exams, but for online it's kind of next day. But anyway, to find the better time and etc. So I would recommend to start thinking in this week, and then I believe after the training one, we still will have some follow-up assignments for you to try yourself. Of course, we'll be trying something during the session, but not sure. I think we'll have a group of 10, 15 people, so we might not be able to handle everything. So some additional assignments for your individual work. And then on the week 22, we have the second training day. I think there was some confusion with this date. There was a bit differently communicated. I think it's not fixed yet. There was some, my colleagues are just discussing with you. It was supposed to be on Monday, but there are some holidays in some countries. So it will be probably on Tuesday, but we'll fix the date and we'll communicate it to you for those who are attending. And then this week 22, which is the last week of May, it's the time when you can go for certify for your exam. Of course, if you feel comfortable and ready, you can try to do that after first take, after first training day, and then maybe you'll succeed and you don't need the second day. So this is the May 31st, when it's the last day by our agreement for you to get certified. And then after this deadline, yeah, we are happy to hear how you succeeded. And then we can schedule and focus on individual sessions on June to help you and assist you with the individual consultations for your apps and solutions and architectural reviews and etc. So yeah, once more time. So 2 additional workshops this week, tomorrow and after tomorrow. Then self-study if you totally new. Of course, if you already have experience, so probably you don't need that unless you can just browse through if there are some areas which you don't know. And then assignment, then training day 1, and you preferably schedule your exam date, training day 2, and then we will wish you all the luck. Okay, so yep. So this program is for those who are selected for a full upskill program. As today on the call we have more of you. So again, for you, please attend all the workshops, and you can also work on that assignment yourself. It's just come in few moments to that. And yeah, just unfortunately we won't be able to at this time support you individually, but I believe if you just go through full self-study, do the assignments a couple of times, maybe go through objectives, I believe you will pass it yourself as well. Now self-study, so it's standard Microsoft Learn study paths. So this one is mentioned for PL 900 as Power Platform Fundamentals. It just next to the, if you go to exam page, it's listed there. If you go to PL 100 exam page, there will be kind of 10 or more. I just have screenshot of 4 first learning paths. So there are more hours to study, and you can choose maybe just areas which you are not familiar with, and etc. Even though you are going for PL 900, it's really good to go through additional advanced things, because then you will have more knowledge and you can crunch simple things as well easier. Now assignment. So for assignment, we decided to go with app in a day workshop. You probably already heard it from my colleagues during this intro workshops. Or not sure if you personally attended or somebody else attended. So app in a day, it's a Microsoft packaged workshop with all the materials. Where you as a partner can go to customers and do them as kind of event on their premises to if you are going to form a citizen developer practice on your customer side and etc. So it's really handy tool just to take this workshop, schedule 1-day training with your customer, and just deliver it. Everything is there, all the materials. Yeah, so it has 4 modules: Canvas app, Dataverse, model-driven apps, and Power Automate. Of course, it's not enough to pass the certification because it's more kind of simple parts and doesn't cover everything. But for you as a sales tool, it's very good. So as in Lithuania, we say that you can kill 2 rabbits with 1 bullet. Yeah, you will learn for your certification by doing this app in a day workshop yourself, and then you will be ready to deliver it as well after certifying to your customers. Yeah, so this package, this is URL to download it. They don't have the like landing page or something. All the materials are inside in the zip file. It's constantly updated. So now it's the updated this month. You'll need your environment, trial environment. So You can go for a traditional trial for 30 days. You can go with the Office 365 and add Power Platform as additional trial, or you can go for one of Dynamics sales, let's say, trial, and the Power Platform will be there. Another option, you as a partners, you most probably have access to this site. I can maybe we'll add it. Maybe Augusta can type it. Can type it to the chat. You can try. It's related to Partner Portal. It's a modern workplace like transformation portal for partners where there are lots of materials, and you can create your own trials, trial tenants, and you can get one with the Dynamics or Office, and it would last for 90 days. So it would give you more time. No rush to prepare, and you can start earlier then. And then 4 modules from app in a day workshop. There is a business scenario, there is a data prepared, there is a step-by-step guidance, how to do, what to get, how to get there. You also have to try out creating the environments, adding the database, which is also part of the certification exam. And during, this is now preliminary kind of schedule for a training, our training day 1 and day 2. I'm still working on those, so it might still shift to one or other side, but my vision now is that on the day 1 we start from some short Q&A just to unblock any bigger blockers you got during your assignment while doing this app in a day workshop yourself. If you're stuck somewhere, so we can quickly answer the questions, and then we go to advanced topics of Power Apps and Power Automate. Just touch some pieces which were not covered in this app in a day. Then we go for Power App portals, which very rare feature. Then Power BI, which has lots of questions in PL 900. Then Power Virtual Agents and AI Builder. And after 1 week, we get back with more administrative things like environment management, solutions, troubleshooting for maybe half a day, and then rest half a day we spend. We could spend in Q&A, just answering questions, discussing, and etc. So that's my vision at the moment. So it might slightly shift one topic to another, but expectation is that we should cover all the objectives which are required for the exams. And that's it from my side. Thanks a lot for listening, for questions inside during the session. So, yep, you can shoot any more questions. Let's see what we have missed there. Yeah, PL 200, PL 100 discussion. Yep, one more thing to mention for those who are participating in a full upskill program, we'll send more detailed questionnaire just to understand all your kind of skill level currently, just to see maybe adjust trainings to one or other side based on that. Okay. So PL 200, 100. Just checking if there are any other questions which were. See some missing registration for workshops, but August will handle that. Going to fix the time of meetings on 1725 and yep. So
I'm already. Yeah, hi all. I'm dealing with it, so I answered to the timings here.
Yeah, so we'll send 25th as soon as possible, but 31st of May there is no any event. It's just let's say deadline as the last day for passing certification. It was just because it's the Monday and it's still on that week, so there's no event on 31st of May. Just the last day when you can pass the certification.
Yes, and we will send the invitations to the trainings tomorrow. Probably you will all get it. Yes, it will be possible to get the recordings as well. We will see how we can distribute it to you.
Okay. So we still have 7 minutes from planned time. Let me try to find I'll share my screen. Okay. Let's see. Consultant is always about mostly gathering requirements. Collaboration with other teams, etc. Let's see from technology side. Existing data model. So it's kind of the same as PL100. Create and manage process requirement for business rules. Synchronous classic workflow tests, business rules. I think in this part it would be deeper in rather than PL100 because when we speak about no-code development for model-driven apps, it's about those classic workflows, business rules, and the complexity of this. In PL100, I think there is much less of the business rules and etc. Configured dataverse. Relevant search is additional, not mentioned in. It's kind of CRM thing. Auditing, not mentioned in PL100. Data management tasks, duplicate detection, privacy, preferences. Yeah, this is more about how to work with the data inside the database, all the duplicate detections and etc. It's not mentioned in PL100. Security. This, I believe, it will be even more about security because it's in CRM. It's really extensive, and PL100 tries to cover different levels of security, a bit from modern apps, a bit from Canvas apps, a bit from everywhere. So I think this goes deeper into security of model-driven apps. Sorry. Model-driven apps, forms, views, charts, dashboards, kind of the same. Sitemap, the same. Select applicable assets, tables, forms, views, sharing, the same. Apply organizational branding. So this is not mentioned in PL100, and it's more from CRM world. Create Canvas app. Canvas app, configure screens, navigation, run flows, interpret checkers. This is kind of the same. Portal apps. Okay, this is not mentioned in PL100. Automates, flows. Business process flows is additional thing. Again, it's coming from CRM. In PL100, maybe it's in PL900 as well. It's some places probably just mentioned to know what it is. And this is about already creation of business process flow. It's even desktop flows included here. Virtual agents, same. Power apps with other services, BI, AI. Okay, this change probably about naming changes. Yep. Integrate apps. Yeah, you're right. It's more or less kind of similar, as I mentioned, it just coming from different worlds and adding things on top of each other. But once you will pass PL100, it's with some additional maybe studies of some areas, it will be very easy to pass PL200s. Okay, so any more questions? Oops, sorry. Unfortunately put the smiley. Yeah, colleagues already handled about the slides and recordings. And if there are no more questions, we are right on time. And it was a pleasure to have you all here and talk to you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon, and we'll dive into